you see. If you disagree with the information being told, go and look it up for yourself and try to figure it out. All right, guys, here we go. My name's Elder. This is the Open Debate. Thank you all for being here. Anybody who would like to discuss what they have seen throughout the day, request to join. There's a little co-host button at the bottom, and I will pop you in. We will have some good conversations. We got a guest joining.
Much of anything except for this. So this is my lifetime. I see. But I do want to talk about one thing. If people want to do the research, they can check this out because I fact checked it too. The University of British Columbia, UBC, held the key ingredient to making the vaccine viable. And every time someone around the world gets a poke, Canada gets paid because they own the patent. You guys can look this stuff up, University of British Columbia. And I'm not lying. So of course he wants to push it and do whatever he can because it's money in his pocket and blah, 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 blah. So what are your views on those three topics?
Well, as of right now, I agree. I don't believe that the use of force that has been displayed is justified. I agree with you that there are many things that could have been portrayed differently throughout the protests and different ways they could have gone around things to ensure that the majority of Canadians, whether they be like, so that there were no um, real reasons to not be on board with what's going on. They could have definitely, there are some things that you could complain about, like you said. Um, but as it stands right now, what I've seen throughout the day, on both sides, it has been somewhat peaceful, but the use of force has come from the government. Things have been completely peaceful. There's been no violence. There's been no injuries throughout this entire situation, and all of a sudden, within one day, there's been a lot of negative things going on, and it seems to be coming from one side. Even from what I've seen through the live streams and just what I've seen through the day, um, the protesters themselves have been very reserved, especially in faced with what they could perceive as a threat. They've reserved themselves. They didn't fight back. Even with the term hold the line, it wasn't a sense of hold the line and push back. It was hold your ground, stand your ground. But they're moving back. Don't let them get to you. Don't let them provoke you into being violent. If they want to move in and take over the territory, that's what they're doing. And if they want to be violent, let them show their violence. But don't retaliate in violence and don't act hateful. And that's what I've seen from the people. I haven't seen anybody overtly going out of their way to be violent or try to enact violence against the police. And in with that, I've seen the police show their true colors when it comes to peaceful protests, where other individuals say, well, if this was a native protest, they would have already done worse. And it's like, yeah, it puts into light how bad the police system is in Canada, and nobody's denying that. Nobody's saying that it's a good thing that they are literally trampling, however you want to, stomping, whatever you want to do it. They're running over people with horses, whether it was intentional or not. Individuals who quite literally could not get out of the way. It's not somebody who was defiantly standing in front of them. It's somebody with a walker that could not, and this is undeniable. The photo evidence is out there. The video evidence.
I
is
saw
out
the
there.
video evidence. Like, yeah. Yeah.
And so, it's a little bit of an overreach, and I think that the individuals involved in this, they're going to bed tonight with a heavy heart. They're going to have to be thinking about what they've done throughout the day. I'm going to shout out Bird a Proud Dad. He's been streaming all day. Earlier tonight, he had a live stream with 1.4 million likes on it.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Beautiful.
try to say that this is a fringe minority when there are individuals out there showcasing what's going on with 1.4 million likes on the video.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be no way that the Liberal Party is going to be able to avoid all the downloads and saved videos of the trampling of that lady. So, there's other people that live in Ottawa, and, their claims of backlash from the protesters. Show me proof with video. Show me it. I haven't seen anything yet. I haven't. So, I mean, people that want to say, I live there, they want to do whatever they can to shut the noise up. I get it. So, I mean, lying and, another thing is too, like, look at Justin Trudeau. Do you think he's going to have the protesters back at all? He once claimed he was going to get fresh, clean drinking water to up north to the natives and make things, habitable for their people and their kids. Years and years later, second term.
As things go on, a lot more things have come out. I'm bringing in fuck off hypocrites. What? Fuck off
Hypocrites.
I couldn't even read it.
I was in here the other.
Thank you for joining us. Yeah.
Yes. That lady did not have a walker. She was on a scooter when they ran her over.
Whatever.
And right before she was on
What did you say she was? Sorry, what did you say she was?
The elderly lady was on a scooter. I don't know why am I getting a
Yeah, Sounds like there's something in
Give
the
me a sec. I'll
background.
jump right back in.
Sounds good. Yeah, I think that the stream was playing in the back. Perhaps I want to hear what she has to say because if there's a different perspective, right? Either way, the situation is, if it wasn't a lady in a walker, where's the walker? You know what I mean? That's the type of propaganda. We watched the videos. I did see there's a crowd of people. I didn't particularly see who got knocked down until they were on the ground, but I did see the horses
Right.
run through, push people down, and there are many videos, right? And so I've only seen maybe 6, and they're all from different angles. And so I saw a group of people that were getting pushed down, and then all these people on the ground. Where would the walker have come from? Whose walker is it? Now who doesn't have a walker? Like even in then where's her scooter? I just want to hear what she has to say about that. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Because you got to look into it, right? All right.
If
We're
you,
back in.
I can actually send you the video or even the screenshot. I don't know why I'm getting it.
Yeah. Do you have
Anyway,
headphones in?
no.
So that's probably why, because the sound's coming through from both ends. Your microphone and your speakers are both playing at the same time.
How's
That's
that?
so weird.
Try it.
Hello? Oh, there.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, it was him. I was like,
Oh, okay.
I don't have that option. Anyway, no, I can actually send it to you like a tag video or whatever. This elderly lady was literally 5 seconds before they ran her over was telling the cops we're here for peace, love, and happiness. And then they're like, oh, the cops are coming in with the horses. And then she was literally sitting on a red scooter. And then there was another chick in a brown coat that got kicked in the head by one of the horses. They were literally standing almost right beside each other. But I will send that to you so you can see. And I watched one live. I was literally watching it where they were trying to back up, and one of the cops grabbed somebody, and he was trying to fight to get back to where the rest of the crowd was, and they pulled him through, and then the one officer beat him with the blunt end of his gun, like the end of his rifle. And I saw so much stuff today. I just want to cry because that's not Canada. We don't do that. Our cops don't do that to us.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently I don't know if it's true. And I won't say that I'm saying that it's true, but they're saying that that elderly lady that was in the scooter actually passed away from being run over by the horses. I don't know. I can't verify that, but
I've heard
why
that as
would
well,
they
and I haven't been able to
specifically?
verify it. But
I would like to know exactly which person it was because they said it was an elderly lady that was on a scooter that got run over by the horses, and that's the only one I saw
Can I
today.
comment on the comment I saw? This guy in bold letters just said, this Mike guy, these protesters deserve everything they get. Come on, man. People are going there fighting for their freedoms, and then they get assaulted by the people that are supposed to
It's
protect
not
them.
just their
Like,
freedoms, it's everybody in
right,
Canada's freedom.
well,
Like I'm
right.
in
guys,
Canada.
So,
guys,
so
I know
does
that
your wife?
guys, but listen, I know that like comments like that get you upset and like, it makes you like emotionally charged. But when you see something like that, keep in mind and maybe just pose the question back to those types of individuals: would you keep that same emotion going with a cause that you agree with? So none of us like, and that's what I keep saying. So I keep seeing people argue different things around reasons why they believe that this protest is wrong, and in each argument, it's a situation where if for me, I don't care who it is. If you, I didn't sit there and say that the native protesters blockading the pipeline should be taken out by military force. I was not for that. I don't believe that that should happen. And I think that a lot of the individuals who are for this freedom movement are not for things like that happening. And individuals push those, they have their own thoughts around what they believe these people feel and think, and they're pushing those agendas onto people because historically, the government has not taken favor into liberal causes and left-wing movements. So when they're protesting, there is violence that happens from the police, and there isn't a large outrage from right-wing or central or like just other individuals that are not part of that movement. But that should not deter you from standing up for the rights of all individuals. And so just because you have experienced violence in the past, like I've experienced racism in the past, I wouldn't push that on somebody else because I've experienced it. I wouldn't say, well, one time somebody said something mean to me, so why are you being treated respectfully? Maybe you should feel what I felt. You deserve what you're getting. None of them deserve the type of force that has been enacted on them.
No, I also have a news. I don't know if I can send it on TikTok. I'd have to post it and then maybe tag you in it. But they were going live on some news channel and they were literally dragging somebody in between two different trucks. So he's already on the ground. And one of the officers, once they got him through the truck, started kneeing the fuck out of him. Like, what is the purpose of that? He was already down.
Mhm.
I mean, I get
Uh,
subduing somebody if they're trying to fight or whatever, but there's no point to physically harm somebody when they're already down. Like he just got drugged through the snow in between trucks, and then an officer felt the need to knee him multiple times, not just once. And the people in the news saying, "Oh, look, we're getting somebody else arrested." Like they never made a comment on the actual abuse that was happening from the police side. Like they said nothing. They just like ignored it. Like it wasn't even happening. And that's disgusting. It's
Yeah,
disgusting.
it's crazy bad right now. It's absolutely horrifying to think that these police officers came from multiple different jurisdictions, um, decided they're all going to show up, and the majority of them are just being complete dicks. It would be it's sad to see the people that you're supposed to, serve and protect us are people that we pay, our employees,
Yeah.
assaulting us. It's sad. They work for us. They don't work for the government. Yeah, the government pays them with our money, you know?
Yeah.
So I can't wait till Tucker from the Fox News spins it shit tonight. I can't wait to turn into Fox. I have to pay for Fox News here. CNN's free, isn't that something? But we pay for Fox News just to get a twist on everything. It's like when they don't tell you all the states down there are swapping, you know? Up here, what just happened, I want you guys to maybe think about something is, so the convoy had some tarnished names that were helping running the situation, or amongst the people running the thing. Some tarnished names, some people,
Okay.
maybe not the greatest idea. However, now look at what Trudeau's got. Crooked cops on film beating people legitimately with proof that they've done it. Because everything I heard about Pat King, I haven't seen one racist thing, and I've hunted my ass off looking for it. Haven't found anything except for his one comment
It's
about
out
gun
there.
control.
And
But
I'm not defending Pat King because I am literally not a fan. He literally is there as just another freedom fighter. He has nothing to do with the convoy. His name is not anything to do with the people that created it in the first place. He was never a part of the GoFundMe shit. Like he wasn't included in any of it. He's just there as his own entity, uh, using his name because he is one of the people that I was telling you last time, but that went to court and fought his ticket because they can't isolate the virus itself. But
right,
he
yeah,
was there on his own fruition. He was there. He wasn't actually a part of the group that started the
well,
convoy
well, well,
rally. He was just
the
there on
point
his
of
own.
the point I'm trying to make is this, and I was saying earlier before you hopped on, is a lot of people out of the gate, with no facts or fictions, got a sour taste in their mouth instantly about, and I'm not saying everyone, I'm only saying a few people that may have been on the protester side, caught wind of a few sour people in their perspective within the leadership of that convoy.
I know.
Ultimately lost a lot of supporters. So what I'm saying now is, and I'd have to go and find, for people who are saying this all over, I can just search harder or easy, I don't know. But you cannot deny the fact that Justin Trudeau now has countless videos of the police being corrupt and
Of course.
assaulting free Canadian citizens within their rights to protest. that aren't doing anything wrong. No one's honking horns. No one's doing anything. They're saying they're peaceful. If this lady died, if she's okay, it matters. If a horse stepped on
It
a
does
foot,
matter.
it matters. If they shoved you, it matters. Trudeau screwed himself. So now all those people that jumped off the convoy bandwagon, I hope a whole whack of them hop on again now, because look at the police are being the ones that are being ingested. They're being horrendously disrespectful. They're assaulting people. And you know, you when that one guy I watched the video, he's like, let me talk to your supervisor. Bring your supervisor here. You have that right. Give me your name and badge number. You have that right. Poof, out the window. Come on, man. Let's
And
see
that's
what the
the
rest
other
of the world
question.
says to Trudeau over this. Let's see what the other leaders say. Let's see what they say.
And the other question is, there is no Ottawa chief of police who's running the show. Who's telling them to do this?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know who's in charge of the police force right now. I guess I haven't seen any
Because
articles
the
saying
interim
anyone
one, after
stepped
2
up.
days, stepped down.
Yeah, and that guy seems to be like stone-faced killer. Like, I don't care. I'm getting paid to do the job. I'll do the job. Yeah, hire me. I'm your guy. He's like, okay, we got no one. You're in charge. He's like, just move in. You know, this is no, this is not my first protest. I can't even really look at the comments. I should just
Yeah,
scroll them
well,
off.
well, to everybody, yeah, you guys. First of all, anybody who's in the chat or like in the conversation, anyone in the box, don't worry about the comments. Anyone who's in the comments, if you'd like to come into the box, there's still another comment open. And if you have a different point of view, I'm always happy to take the middle ground and look at both perspectives and try not to be too objective. I clearly have my own biases, and I never do not deny that and try to lie and pretend like I'm completely unbiased. But I will try to take the middle ground and keep things civil. And you know, clearly two individuals agree with for the majority of what we're talking about here. So if you have an opposite perspective, feel free to join in, and I will try to moderate and back you up on points that I consider to be rational, good points. Because we're here to learn. That's the whole point of this show. We're here to learn. We're not here to reiterate the same things that we all know. We all understand them. But we are here to talk about how we feel, and that's good. But we also want to hear other people's point of views, because if they feel differently, you want to know why people feel the way they feel. If you don't agree, if you think that the Canadian government is completely justified in their use of force, why do you feel that way? Because if we don't know, like I don't know, if I feel differently, then how could I ever know why they are if you don't tell me how you feel and you've come to those conclusions? And I don't
The
allow
other
you to
thing,
tell me those things.
yeah, one of the other things I saw today in a live, and at one point this afternoon, I had to shut my phone off because I couldn't handle it anymore. I watched a vet get beat, a veteran of Canada get beat to the point that he actually had to go to the hospital from an officer. A veteran, somebody that defended this country and fought for our freedoms. It's not a lie.
It's really not a lie, though. The thing is, if you think that it's a lie, then you can go and at least follow me, and that's the whole thing, okay? Because if you're not following people back on TikTok, you can't just send links to people. Go on to Instagram, follow the open debate, and request the link, and I can send you everything that people are going to be talking about tonight. I can guarantee you will be verifiable, other than so far the fact that any individuals have passed away. I have
There you
not been
go.
able to
8
verify that.
veterans were assaulted today.
Yeah. But there are
What about
links to like everybody has been live streaming all day long, and these events have been captured. It's in real time. People have seen what was happening.
I had a buddy at work come up to me and say, you know, this is ridiculous and they all should go home. They're inconveniencing the people of Ottawa. And I said, huh, that's one thing. I do agree with the horn honking and stuff, but can you tell me who got inconvenienced more? The people that lost their small businesses throughout this whole entire nation for the last 2 years, the mom and pop stores, the little candle store, the little bakery, the little barber shop. Come on, man. Look at all them crumbled and crushed. And the ones that try to hold on to their staff, the CERB paid more than the lower minimum wage or even what they're paying. So the employees didn't want to go home. They're like, why do I need to work? I'm making 22 bucks an hour and I was making 18 bucks an hour there, and I'm getting paid to stay at my home, and they're bragging about it with their buddies as they play Xbox and cruise on their phones and whatever the case is. There's so much downside beyond just the 20 days of occupation in Ottawa. What about the 2 years? Look at the scale is so lopsided. And he's like, I'm sorry, I was ignorant. I didn't think of that. I'm like, you're not ignorant, man. You're telling me your feelings. I totally understand. But I don't want you to not forget about the mom and pop stores worldwide, because of this. Worldwide.
So I just brought Julia in here to discuss
Hello.
things with us. Thank you for joining us on the open debate.
Hello, stupid mind.
What? Are you over 18?
Yes. No.
No.
Alright.
He wants to do a battle. He wants to do a
You can just
battle.
tell. If yeah, it's just like I'm down with trolls, but also like we're trying to have conversations, and if even like with the TikTok platform, it's kind of strange. This isn't an adult-only platform. It's not 18 plus for the conversations, but with the kind of conversations that we're having, politics and stuff, it is 18 plus for individuals who are going to be voting. A and B. It's not that you can't have an opinion on politics. I'm down to hear everybody's perspective. There was a 14-year-old on here the other day, and nobody even knew he was 14 until he said it. He was super smart and never would have known. Everyone has their own perspective and their own opinion, but I'm not trying to influence children into like changing their opinion or anything like that. And so that's just not what I'm trying to do. If you have an opinion, I'm not stopping you from giving your opinion, but I'm not trying to argue or debate with younger people. It's just not.
Yeah.
It's just
This,
like
yeah.
I don't feel comfortable
This is
doing
an
it.
adult
but,
conversation.
Yeah. So, it is what it is. I got Matt coming in here on the chat. How are you doing? Thanks for joining us on the open debate.
Not bad. Yourself?
Oh, not too bad. How are you
It's
feeling?
good. I'm all right. Me personally, I think they're using too much force. Way too much force. I think force should be equal. Right? But the thing that bothers me the most is about this whole thing is that even in the House of Parliament, the House of Commons, I watch on there and I see these people talk and nobody's bringing up the fact that he keeps saying that all this is in correlation with the Charter of Rights, and it's not. The Charter of Rights gives us the right to protest. The Charter of Rights gives us the right to assembly.
Yep.
Whether he agrees with it or not, whether he likes the views or not, doesn't matter.
Right? Exactly.
So then the question is even though they have orders, why are the officers or anybody down there not upholding their oath? Because they swore an oath to
Exactly.
uphold the Charter of Rights and freedoms.
That's right. And that's the big thing. But see, I can understand some point of view. Like for example, for example, I'm in Toronto and we had some protests here. The cops just kind of were there. They didn't do nothing. Those cops, I can get it. They have a job. They want to do their job. They want to feed their family, et cetera, et cetera. I get that. But when it comes to the violence and stuff like that, I mean, there's a limit.
I'm in BC, and the cop at our border down here, they started. We'll look at footage. There's footage of it. The Pacific Highway crossing in British Columbia. The cops moved forward. They had one negotiator, and they negotiated 100 feet for the officers. And everyone's like, "What did you do that for? Like, why?"
Yeah.
And then the cops decided they waited till everything was small, and the cops were coming like 20 across, and there's 20 would come and relieve them. They'd take a break. The 20 would come and relieve them. Next thing you know, they got 40, 60 cops against 20, and they just pushed right through and started tearing things down, and people were getting beat and stuff. That was in BC. Ottawa,
Yeah.
it's
There's
just
even
sad.
some thoughts that I've seen on a live that you guys didn't mention. I did see the lady that got run over by the police horses. I seen the veteran getting kneed and stuff on the ground. And there was another one where one of the cops was beating one of the people on the ground with his gun. I don't know if it was a tear gas gun
Yeah.
or what it was,
Yeah,
but
it
he
was
was beating them with it.
the blunt end of his the blunt end of his gun. Yeah, I saw it.
The part of his gun, yeah. I mean, this is just ridiculous. Like, I mean, force is always met with force. Like, I mean, Yeah, I honestly think with what's going on throughout the world and stuff, if this goes a little further, like we already got cops assaulting people. What's the next step? If it goes any further, there might be, you know what I mean? Trudeau might be starting something that he's not ready for.
I think the army should step in and go against the cops and stand with the people.
Armies totally should. Our
Well,
military
look at,
should be standing with us.
well, look how many
And I
military
don't
people were
understand
kicked
why
out
they're
of the
not
army because they're
standing
not
with
being
us.
vaccinated. I mean, there's them, right?
Okay, but why aren't they standing with us? That's
Oh,
my
I'm sure
question.
they're there. I'm sure there's some there. I'm not saying that there's not any at all. I mean, I'm sure there's some there, just they're in plain clothes, so you don't know it. But I mean, yes, I think the military itself should stand up. But the problem is the military, the structure of it. Everybody's going to listen to the next up and the next up and the next up, and they're going to listen to who? They're going to listen to Trudeau. It's going to be the next step, and when they do that, that's when you're going to see things go off kilter. Like I said, I think he's starting something that he's not ready to. He's really not prepared for.
One thing that I
And I
find
hate to
very
say it, like
interesting.
it is what it is.
Yeah, one thing that I find very interesting is that many people are willing to speak their mind in the chat, but very little people are willing to actually vocalize what they think and their own opinions. And they're eager to dismiss what's being said or act as though it's not true rather than look it up for themselves or rebut it with information that they actually have. Because I'm not going to lie, I'm under the assumption that most individuals do not have actual information that forms the opinions that make up their own mind. They reiterate things that they've heard and they assume that it's true without actually looking it up for themselves. And so when they come in to an area that's not necessarily aligning with the views that they have, they can't understand why people would come to those conclusions. And that's what the whole show is for, is so that people can understand why people are coming to the conclusions. So if you are out there in the chat and you do not believe what is being said, come into the box and tell us why. Give us the information. If you believe you can educate anybody, go ahead and educate us, because everybody here is open to hearing opinions. That's the whole point. It's an open debate. It's not a set debate on any topic. Don't even got to talk about these topics. You got something on your mind, come in, tell us what it is, and we will be open to listening and discussing it.
I agree 100% with what you're saying, because I was watching a live for a person that's on the opposite side, and she was talking. She was saying that the vaccine gives 0.001% chance of getting COVID. I was like, oh my god, right? Because that's
That's
completely
false information right there.
yeah, right. I was like, no. And then she was talking about how you can be asymptomatic for 2 weeks before you even know you have the virus. And I was like, no, that's wrong too. And then I was just like, no, I better not go on that live because I'm going to get mad. But yeah, a lot of people,
Yeah,
they don't.
the problem
It's a
is that
hard
people
thing.
can come on and spew whatever they want without having to like show their evidence. But when you have live video feed like we did today and all the abuse and stuff, they can't dispute it. It was recorded.
Right, exactly.
And
I
and
agree.
and not just by one person. It was recorded by like multiple people. And the multiple people had hundreds of thousands of people watching.
That's right.
Fox
But
News is gonna have a heyday with this. I can't even wait, guys. I can't even
yeah,
wait. I'm so
but you know,
excited. My
but you
PVR
know the
set and Tucker Carlson's gonna rip new a-holes. Eh? It's gonna be, but here's one
I
thing that
am from
there's probably gonna be zero repercussions for the police. Zero.
Oh, of course.
That's
That's why they're
thing
hiding
about
their
it.
faces and stuff, because that way nobody can
Yeah.
say, "Oh, it was him." It's the same thing. Like for example, Antifa, they use the same thing. It's called block tactics, where they're wearing all black, all no marks, no nothing, so that you can't tell who it is.
Yeah, I just have a
Exactly why they're
question
doing
then, because I don't know if it's true or false. So it's just a legitimate question. In Canada, do the police not do they not have to show their name and their badge number? if we ask
Well,
for it? Like,
they
is
don't have
that
to.
not like a legal requirement that they have to give to us if we ask
It's
it?
not law. It's not law, but most policy, most police departments have it as a policy, right? In fact, they actually carry business cards,
Okay, well,
right?
either
So
way, because I noticed, I don't know if anybody else did or picked up on it, is that a bunch of these people that were, pushing back again today were when they were recording, a lot of them had no badge numbers, they had no name tags.
but
Some of
that's
them
why
said
they've been told
OPP
to
on the
do that.
sleeve.
But they've been told to do that. So what happens is because they've been told to do that, if anybody complains, they're just going to brush it off. See, I don't know. I'm assuming you're in the States.
I'm in Canada.
Oh, you are? Oh, because
Yeah.
the way you asked the question, you said in Canada. I thought you were outside of Canada. My apologies.
No,
But
no, I am in
so
Canada.
the big thing about the way the police system works here, which is kind of retarded. We do have a form of the like internal affairs. I forget what it's called, right? But there's still a lot of things that are handled within the police department. So things like that, like a small complaint, like, oh, he didn't give me his badge number. Most of the time, it's gonna be handled within the department, and then they'll just say, oh, we told him that he's supposed to do it, and that's it. That's always gonna happen. So a lot of them don't care and don't abide by that policy. The only way to get it is to get a part of that is to show it's a constant thing with that officer, and that's very hard to do. So.
Oh, okay.
Okay, guys, since we're all like pretty much on the same page, until somebody's ready to hop in with a different opinion, let's discuss the second topic because the second topic relates to everybody as a whole.
The New World Order.
The way I framed it is, do you believe in the New World Order? But I originally had posed the question is, do you believe in the Great Reset? And so the question more so is like, how do you feel about the world's governments coming together in order to create a one world government? And do you believe that it's conspiracy, or do you follow, the Bilderberg Group and the other world leader agendas?
Well, it depends. That's a rabbit hole, man.
Yeah, I don't. The reason why I don't is because of the University of British Columbia. So I think what's happened around the world is that these politicians, all left or right, are corrupt. You hear one guy say, Doug Ford, prime example. Oh, I support the truckers. The next day he's beside Trudeau. Oh, they got to go home. Like, it's just like you're blatantly 50-50 night and day every single week. It's retarded. I think
It's the
what
same
happened
as
is
Kenny.
it's funny that you know people don't do as much research as they should. Me included myself. I don't want to be ignorant in no way, and I'm not trying to be, but I have seen many things about the University of British Columbia having that missing link for this vaccination that Trudeau has supported, and gets his paws and gets paid. So every time someone gets jabbed, why do you think he's going to fight it till the bitter end? And he's going to throw everything he can because now you're messing with his pockets, and he's got to pay off everyone he promised to pay off, and he's scrambling. Oh crap! So how can I justify this? Okay, it might cost me $10 billion of your your tax dollars to fund this police and this regime that's coming in and moved into Ottawa, but it's going to give me 40 billion to pay off these people. So he's scrambling himself, and look what he did. There's his food stamp right there. The cops on the ground, you know. So that's why I kind of feel that it's not a new world order. It's just Trudeau is trying to push his vaccine to the world, and it worked.
Well, I don't know if I get on board with New World Order. Can the governments work together? Absolutely. But for every single government to work together to create this one dictatorship or whatever, I don't see it because there's too much bad blood between governments. But at times, yes, they can work together. Like, I mean, again, I'm not saying this is true, but like they talk about when the Twin Towers went down, how it was actually Saudis and how Canada, U.S. and a bunch of other countries got together. U.S. wanted something and somebody else wanted something else, and I mean, so can they work together like that? Absolutely. But for every single government in the world, no, because there's so many governments in the world, and like you got places like where they got different princes and whatever from different neighborhoods within that country, and I don't see it happening. but I mean, anything's possible, I guess. But I think I agree with you. I think it's just Trudeau trying to line his pockets, which brings me to another question. Isn't it illegal for a prime minister to push policy that gets him money?
Yes,
It's
but
now also been proved and it's out there that he makes a crap ton of money because his company,
As the patent for
yeah,
the whatever,
yeah, the poly, whatever it is,
yeah.
that every injection across the world, he gets money off of it because
Right.
he
And so,
patents
and
something that's
how come
in the
nobody's acting on this? That's my question.
because they're all paid off,
yeah.
even the conservatives.
But what do you mean by that?
Well, come
Yeah, but
on.
pay off everybody. I don't think he's got enough money to
If they
do
could
that.
smoke a mirror show and
That's
Hey
a
have
guys,
bit of a
guys,
dollars.
wait. Swiftness.
Sorry.
What do you mean by when you say they're paid off? What do you mean by that?
Oppositions. So it's smoke and mirrors. You have the conservatives against the NDP and the liberals. Actually, what you have is one whole house all getting paid, and they're all getting paid to be really good actors. You know, so you tell me what's going to happen if the liberals get booted out and the conservatives move in? What's going to
Nothing.
happen with
It's
these
going to be the
vaccines?
same.
What do you think is going to happen with these vaccines? You know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see 5 years of Greenpeace. Just give them a shot for once. Let's see what they do. You know, I don't know, but the fact of the issue is I mean, my mom when I was a young boy, she's like, "Don't ever vote NDP." I was like, "I don't even know what you're saying, Mom." Now I know why, right? Don't ever. And I thought, okay, maybe liberal, and now I'm like conservative. But now I'm starting to think, if we had any justice system, the corruptions that have happened over the 4 decades of me being alive, come on, man. There's no justice in the parliament. There's always a lawyer, there's always a back door for them, there's always a payout, there's always some little hidden way and cause, or it took too long in court or whatever. They never get accountable for anything, because once we stopped hanging them, that was the death of our country. Okay, I'm done. Anyone can hop in anytime now.
Well, that's a tough one
I
to follow.
don't want to really comment on that one too much because I am very, very well deep into the rabbit hole.
Yeah,
And
me.
the rabbit hole runs very, very deep with this one. And yeah, I am too,
Maybe you'll
for
like the podcast I listen to. It's called Conspiracy Theories. You should listen to it.
I'm on Telegram. It's okay.
But where's the proof, though? The proof's in the pudding. Look at all the allegations against all these different heads of leadership. Zero repercussions. Zero.
Well, if we're gonna
Well,
look at
that's
that, then you got to look at the zero repercussions that Trudeau had for the SNC Lavalin.
Exactly.
And all the other like scandals that he went through, the Wee scandal, and getting rid of the first whatever she was, that Raybould, what was her name? He got rid of her because she refused to bend to his will.
Yeah. So I mean, like, to have a new world order out of everything, I do highly agree with the gentleman. If you look at some conspiracies, I heard they say Australia was a test, and they're a little bit smaller than
Thank you,
Canada.
Katie.
Canada's a second test because they actually want to infiltrate the United States. So they want to see how the people are going to react to all this stuff. So that's a crazy conspiracy. Do you think, okay, put it this way, Texas has the most amount of guns per person in the world, per capita, as a person that lives there. They also have the lowest amount of gun crime because some guy's not going to go there and mass shoot. Look at the guy that tried in a church down there. He got shot by a dude who had a gun in his pocket. So, I mean, you're going to
Do
have
they
a
have
big
an open
problem.
carry there?
Yes.
Yeah,
In
that's the
Texas.
thing. Yeah, absolutely. And come on, man. I mean, we're wondering if we can move to Texas or Florida ourselves on the Underground Railroad. I'll even help build it. Let's go.
I've been to Texas. It's gorgeous. I'll sit in Galveston any day of the week.
I don't want to leave BC. It's beautiful, but God darn it. Bonnie Bond, Henry. So the New World Order for me is a no. I don't believe in a New World Order. I don't think it could happen. It's just too many differences between sultans and priests and princesses and like, China's been super quiet lately though. Have you guys noticed that? What's happening in Wuhan? What's happening in all the different districts in China?
Well, I heard they just did some 4-year-old died of COVID or something, so now they're like mass vaccinating, like it's like forced vaccination stuff. That's what I heard. I don't know if it's true or not.
Well,
I'm
if
just
you
gonna
want to,
say this. I'm gonna lay it out on the line. Obviously, it's sad to hear about the individual in China, and who knows what's going on in China. But I don't want to hear loss of life of anyone. I'm gonna lay this out on the line. At least with the second question, I feel the complete opposite of everybody, I think, here. And I think it's an interesting question that I want to have with a lot of people because I personally believe that what we're seeing right now has a lot more to do with the grand scheme of things than our individual rights and the way that we believe what we think we're doing. And so I kind of believe as though we're being used as useful pawns in this scheme to enact a larger global movement to push things forward. And so as of right now, the Canadian people have effectively strong-held the Canadian/American economy for almost a month, which we don't feel right now. And it seems as though everything's fine because we live in a first world country with a stockpile of goods in warehouses throughout the country, both the United States and America. But in 4 months, when they haven't been getting stockpiles of meat and goods, just random goods, the shelves are going to feel an impact. We are going to be feeling this within the months to come, even if right now things seem fine. It's going to take a little while, even if things were to pick up right now from this point forward, and everything's to change, and everybody's going to go back to work, and the borders are all going to be opened up, and there's no disruptions. The economy would still feel the impact that was had throughout these past 3 weeks.
I hope and pray you're wrong. I hope and pray you're wrong.
I do as well, right?
Yeah.
It's not something that I hope for, right? This
And
is
it's not something I
want,
don't see happening. I don't see happening.
It's just
Look at the
when
fourth
you look
wave.
it's just when you look at the grand scheme of things, it's what has the governments around the world been saying they want to happen, and how could they enact that to happen with the situations that we're in. So it seems like a win for us to get the mandates lifted and to get the borders opened up. But as of right now, it's kind of hard to send individuals into conflict or individual concades throughout the world if people are afraid of a virus and they don't even want to leave their house. And so in order to advance that agenda, we can't be locked down anymore. And it's not that I don't want to be locked down. It's not that I believe that we should continue mandates whatsoever. It's just I'm leery about the timing of everything and the way that things are being played out in the grand scheme of.
What was that?
I agree with the part about the whole feeling the impact and stuff. That I agree with because I mean that's obvious. I mean the truckers are there, not food. Just the whole world order thing. The question I have for you is like because you talk. The whole thing is like the most of the conspiracy theory I see is always around either G12 or the what do you call those people? The other ones that meet in secret.
World Economic Forum.
No, the Bilderbergs or whatever.
Bilderberg.
That's it, Bilderbergs. Yes, but the problem is the Bilderbergs are a bunch of different people, right? It's not just one set of people. It's like it's not just the government. There's average people there. Well, I mean, like higher ups, but they're like, for example, okay. So the question I guess I would propose is who's running the new world order? Right? How's it going to come to be?
That Quebec guy, I saw it on many different videos. He comes when he was going to implement the tax for the non-vax in Quebec, when he got up, he did this little hand signal on his side, up by his head.
Legault?
And I was like, oh, that dude pointed it out. I was like, that's like some of the Illuminati shit
Oh
going
yeah,
on there.
the secret
Yeah, yeah,
symbol.
yeah, yeah.
You
The-
do realize first the whole pyramid with the eye thing is not Illuminati, right?
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying as a reference, so people like stupid-minded people like me can be like, yeah, okay, I know what you're saying without saying the facts about it, right? You get the
Yeah, 'cause
idea
you're
of it.
saying
One thing I was
symbolism-
trying to say first,
symbolism.
though,
But it was
Yeah, yeah.
upside down.
Mac, guys, let's wait for a sec. Mac, I haven't really been able to hear from you for a little bit. So, like, well, yeah, what are you thinking? Are you there?
Oh, me,
That's right.
Mac? Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh, sorry. I didn't hear that right. Sorry, I heard Matt, not Mac. Sorry, my apologies. Just so you know, my actual name is David. Use that.
Oh, okay,
Um,
David. Okay.
But
that makes sense.
no,
That's why
so-
you didn't respond.
Well, I heard Matt, not Mac. So if I would have heard Mac, I
Yeah.
would have.
It's like
Picked
so
up on
far
it.
off though from David.
But well, it has play on my last name. That's why. But anyway, so. But the whole thing is okay. So this whole New World Order thing, like people talk about the Masons, for example, or the Illuminati, or this and that, not this. And I'm, as I said before, big on conspiracy theories and stuff like that, right? And first of all, like
Freemasons are evil.
I don't know if
Right,
I'd agree with you on that, but that's okay. One, because I know a bunch of them,
Mhm.
and I know where they stand. Like for example, the whole New World Order thing. If you talk about through vaccination, most of the Freemasons I know are vaccinated, right? So I mean, it blows that right out of the water. Right? So I mean, there's little things that can punch holes in the theory, because like I said, if you go by the Bilderbergs or whatever, there's a whole bunch of different groups. It's not just one group, right? The Illuminati is been dead for hundreds of years, because the Illuminati actually were the Freemasons were before the Illuminati, and the
Thanks,
Illuminati
Princess Bride.
that tried to take over the Freemasons, and they end up getting found out and stuff, and they got disbanded. I mean,
I'm
there's
gonna say this just real quick, Swiftness. If you could turn down your speaker just a little bit more, if you could, I swear it's you bleeding through.
no, I don't have my speakers off. It's just my phone, man.
I'm so confused then.
He might have like Bluetooth running or something.
Yeah, I don't.
Mac?
So back to
Okay.
it. So with all these little things and stuff like that, again, when you talk about these little groups like Freemasons, Illuminati, all those, I don't know, whatever, all these groups, they all have different ideas and different plans, different things. Again, I don't see them coming together in that manner.
No offense, dude, but you really need to do a little more research into the Freemason people.
I don't need to. I tell you for sure.
Ask him how they get out of it then.
How
You
they get
can't.
out of it? They get out of it. I know 6 or 7 people that are out of it right now. They just walked out. They stopped paying dues and left. That's what I'm saying. See, what people don't realize is there's one thing when you read the books that are written by the people that don't like the Freemasons versus the people that are actually in the Freemasons.
I know somebody that was in the Freemasons and they're really fucked up now over it. So it doesn't work that way. You don't just get to leave and not pay your dues
I know,
anymore.
I know.
Once you're done that.
You know, four or five people, 5 people that just walked away, stopped paying dues and left.
I know how I can stay safe from this debate right now. You guys want to see?
Right? So
I'll wear my tinfoil hat.
there
Okay.
you go.
I don't have
There you go. Right.
Now
So
you're protected.
I mean, it's a whole different ballgame. Like I mean, I've heard like all this conspiracy theories surrounding the Masons. Like for example, that one about worshiping the devil and all that. There's a guy that spread it. I forget his name, but he was a Freemason and kicked him out from certain writings. So what he did is he went to the Pope, and then his so-called informant turned out to be his typewriter that never knew nothing. Eventually, after about 5 years of getting paid and stuff like that to spread lies, he came out and confessed that everything was bullshit. So I mean, it depends what you read. Right? Like there's theories on both sides. I'll say it that way. There's theories on both sides. But again, you have to broaden your horizons a little bit more. Like talk to more than just one. Right? Like I remember this one guy I was talking to. He said he was a Freemason. So because I have affiliations to them, like I know people, right? I know some of their what they call grips, right? So I offered my hand to him, and he didn't even know what I was doing, right? But he talked all kinds of bullshit about the Freemasons, saying he was a part of them or he was a part of them. So I don't know, like without meeting the person you're talking to, I can't tell you if he's legit or not.
I wanted to bring up a point back in an earlier discussion about the New World Order and stuff. I watched this documentary. It's short, anyway. Maybe it wasn't a documentary then, but how they had this test. I don't know the name of the test, but they had a prisoner and they put him in a cell, dark cell, and then they gave him light and they took it away. And then they gave him a little bit longer light and they took it away. And then they made him do things like as a reward. And by the end of it, he was willing to do almost anything. Like after like 4 days of no light, they gave him 10 hours of light. He thought he was saved. Like they give you a little piece and they take it back. They give you a little piece and they take it back. And they're studying to see what this guy was doing and how he did it. I forget what that test was called. It's called what?
Stockholm syndrome. It's where people start to feel like their captors or their saviors or their saints. Yeah, Stockholm syndrome.
Kind of reminds me what of all our public health people are doing. They're just playing like and when you find a loophole, like what, I can't go to the keg and order dinner, but I can have a steak dinner in the food court, or I mean maybe not steak dinner, but I can eat in the food court with not showing my pass. Like what? Or someone's double vaxxed and they still can't watch their kid play sports.
Yeah. Well, that's again, like that's there was something, like one of the biggest things that I want to put towards anybody that's actually in the chat that's against the truckers, for example, is think about it this way: there's thousands, if not tens of thousands of people, right, shoulder to shoulder, right, and we're still seeing record lows for COVID, no mask, no nothing. Right. So, I mean, that kind of put the hole in the theory too, right? Or another question, like that girl I was saying, she said, how many people have to die before you put your mask back on? What about the people that committed suicide? What about the 1,000 times increase in cancer rates? What about the 300 times increase in stillborns and stuff, right? I mean, what about those people? Right? It's crazy.
The last topic you have there, let's start touching on that one because
What is it? I can't see it.
I just keep, even us, me, myself, all of us, you just keep going back to the first one, in a roundabout way. So let's cover that last one.
What's the last one there? I can't read it. It might be in the way.
Can everybody stop talking for just a sec? There's such a weird echo coming through, at least in my headphone, from something. Like there's like something in the background somewhere when somebody's talking.
It could be somebody might have a slower signal and it's just like replaying or whatever, or like behind it.
Yeah.
Is it there when I talk?
It's there when everybody talks right now. I have no idea what's going on. But no one's
Like I
saying
said,
anything in the chat. So, I mean, in the chat below, let us know what the sound's like. Hopefully it's all good for you guys and it's just coming through for me,
Yeah, it's all
I
good
hear
for
it
me.
more when he, like the one below me, talks
How
than
about
when
everybody
Matt
drops
talks.
out and everybody comes back in?
yeah, no, I hear it too, but what I think it is, I think it's just a delayed response.
Yeah, everybody drop and everybody come back in. Hopefully it gets better. I've been able to hear everybody, but it's just that it's been echoing through, and I continuously hear somewhat of an echo, and I want to be able to hear what everybody's saying, right? So let's do this.
And does it echo now?
Nope, you're good.
Okay, so it's not me.
Nope. Swiftness, you're good.
Check,
Mac,
check.
you're good.
Check, check.
All right, we're all good. Perfect.
Okay, okay. What were? Oh yeah. So what is the last topic? I can't read it. The
It is how
things
much
in the way.
control should how much control should the government have over its people?
As little as possible.
They work for us.
That's right. Right. They shouldn't see. Okay, so as far as the government's concerned, I think it should be the same way as. Okay, I know everybody's going to hate this word because it's been demonized, but the idea of the communist way of doing things, as far as the government's concerned, because communist has no government. It's basically just a voting system, right? So, like for example, let's just think provincial, for example, right? So every city would cast a vote for anything and everything, right? Laws, mandates, whatever, right? And then everybody in the city, when they have their vote, it's passed on to one person. He has to vote the very same way as what the city, whatever that city wants, and then it goes up that chain like that, and to the point where it gets to the bottom. And then once, like if you're talking world or global wise, then that's the vote. That's the way it should be done. There shouldn't be one person in control that can just say, "Oh, I'm going to do this," like the Emergency Measures Act. That should never have only one person that's able to enact that. It should be multiple people. Like I know, see, in this, it's the same thing he pulled. Like when he was doing it, if you were watching in Parliament, or sorry, the House of Commons, like I was, all the provinces pretty much were saying they don't want it there, but he was like, no, it's there for you if you need it, right? And the reason being for that is because if he goes across Canada, he doesn't need anybody else's support. If he goes after one province, that province has to support him. Otherwise, he can't invoke it. Right? I don't think he should have that kind of power.
No, he should not. He should never have that kind of power, especially him. I don't care what PM it is now, but like even previous ones, Harper should have never had that power. Like any previous, they should never have that, but especially him. He should never have that power because he's
Well,
an egotistical person.
I
I
think it would be
tried to
nice.
politely say that.
It would be a perfect world if we were able to vote in a politician and hold him accountable for a lie that got him into that position, and then everyone take a vote whether to him to stay or not, depending on what his valid reasons to not get the job done. Look at Trudeau.
Well, there is ways to get rid of him.
And no career
Yeah.
politicians, and you can't run more than 2 years. That should be the
I
rule.
don't think they should even have more than 1 year or one term
Yeah,
or whatever.
look at, he was big on getting fresh water, running water to the indigenous people up north. Hasn't happened,
No, because that's what he does. It's the same thing you watch. Like when he was running for office again, the first time, or was it the second time? I can't remember. But he was in the university saying, "Oh, the most important thing between the government and the people is communication." Where the fuck was he whenever everything went on? Right? I mean, there's
Mhm.
no way he should have that kind of power.
Never.
Right? He
You
just
should
talks out
never
his
do
ass and
that.
then does something different. Right? And again, like I said, I don't think any government should have that kind of power. There should be
And
something
they really
like a
all
check
need a
and
bunch
balance
of
system.
decrease they really need a decrease in pay. This upping their pay in the middle of a pandemic, I put that in air quotations for a reason, should never be allowed.
No, I
Never.
agree. I mean, we're facing deficits due to the extra costs and whatnot. Why is
Yeah,
that money
exactly.
can be put there, right? Like I don't even understand why they get paid what they get paid in the first place. Like, look, as a construction worker, right? Mind
Mad
you, I'm
Hatter,
union.
one sec,
Mind you,
guys,
I'm
sorry.
union.
Mad Hatter can't come in because you don't have enough followers.
Oh, no.
But I'm a construction worker, and yes, I get paid really good, but because I'm union, right? So I can make anywhere between 80 and 120,000 a year, right? It's more than enough to live on. Why are these politicians getting millions of dollars? It makes no sense to me, right? Pay them, even 200,000, and then the rest can go to paying some of our deficit. Like, what the hell? They don't
Look
need
at
that kind
Donald
of
Trump.
money.
He didn't take a penny because he didn't need it. And what guy doesn't want more money? Come on,
I don't. I don't want too much. I want just enough. But But no, I'm just saying, like it's and to be honest with you, I don't even think they should be getting paid extra for to do that. It should be a passion, something that they love to do. So that way, go work your other job or go work a smaller job, pay your bills, whatever, and then do what you have to do at the thing. It's the same. I have the same problem with the pastors nowadays and priests and stuff like that. Like I'm religious, I'm a Christian, but I don't understand why they're getting paid what they got paid. Like they keep going on about the 10%, and it makes no sense because the 10% was to cover them because they used to never get paid.
That's false.
So
What?
if the
Sorry,
prime minister makes
no, I wasn't talking to
178K,
you. There's somebody in here said the prime minister makes $178,900. That's wrong.
That's
yeah,
wrong.
that's what he
big
makes
time.
off
Yeah.
of one poke.
Yeah,
That's what he makes off
it's
of one
definitely it's
jab.
definitely like it may be like what is like recorded paying, like just as the prime minister, but throughout different things that you do within the seats that you hold, like within the power that you hold, you go and do speaking events and different things like that. You definitely make way more. But I'm gonna open the lines up for a few more people to see if anybody else wants to join in.
I
But
can go out if you want.
before I let you guys go, I want to ask you guys throughout the day, just what have you seen that really stuck out to you, and what are you going to remember from today's events? And I'm going to start with you. Fuck off my hip hurts.
You just call me Kara, man.
Carol.
Kara.
Fun,
It's the nice 4-letter C word.
right?
That's how you remember me. Anyway,
Yeah.
today was very emotional. I'm very disheartened that this is how our country is. And the people the officers that did all the negative shit today with the beating of the really calm protesters and whatever else happened, they should be punished, and they will be. And today marked a different sort of maybe how the rest of Canada will be. So I don't know. It was tough. Today was tough. So, that's my thing. Anyway, I love you.
Difficult day. Well, thank you for coming out. Thank you for joining us. It's been a good discussion. Swiftness, we'll move on to you. What do you have to say? How do you feel about today's events, and what has stuck out in your mind?
Today's events was an eye opener. I was hoping my darndest to see police officers turn around and join the people, and I never saw it. I saw the opposite, and I was horrified from it because I knew if they didn't do something tonight, the weekend it was going to be catchable for the police to take it back over, and to see the blatant disregard of the civilians that you work for is going to stick out in history for me. And all I can say is thank God for technology, because if we weren't there to see it, no one would believe it, right? So yeah, it's always a pleasure debating with you, my friend. If it gets a little quiet in here, maybe I'll hop on again and talk cool with somebody else. But yeah, I as well am going to sit back and just listen and give someone else another chance to hear other people's views as well. Thank you for your time. Thank you for giving me my time, and it's always I'll put my tinfoil hat back on too.
Sounds good. Thank you for joining us.
Okay, so what stood out the most for me again? I'd have to agree with them. The disregard for human life, let alone anything from the police. I mean, and it's gonna stick in my mind as a time where Canada was at its worst. I can't remember a time that I can look back and say, well, that was really bad. And to the point where like where the police acted the way they did and stuff like that. Like I know they're used to tear gas and whatnot for protests, but I mean today was too far. Beating people with guns and running people over, it's way too much. And yeah, so and I'm hoping the history books will record this properly and not be like CNN. And I guess that's it for me, I guess.
Well, thank you.
But,
Thank you for coming out and telling us how you feel.
Thank you for having me. And just quick thing. This is the first time I've actually seen your show, and I enjoy it and I like it, and I will be paying attention for more.
Thank you. Thank you for coming out. I'm glad to see more people coming out, and that's the whole thing. We want to get different perspectives. Everybody's welcome here. So that's what it's all about. Just getting more eyes on the conversation, because that's what we need, right? If people aren't listening, people aren't talking.
That's right. Uh, Conversation is important. But anyways, you have yourself a great one, and thanks for having me on.
You as well. Have a good night. That was a good conversation. See what anybody else has to say. If you want to request to join, hit the co-host button at the bottom, pop in. Outlaw, thanks for joining us in the chat. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. I'm from over here in America. I've been keeping up with the story and stuff. And the stuff I've seen today, I don't show a lot of emotion, but there's a lot of emotion just driving in silence today. And I wouldn't say I was angered, but it was more of I was like disgust because, you know, you swear an oath to serve and protect, and the truckers, they weren't doing it to like prove a point. They were doing it to fight for, America's freedom, to say, hey, we can stand up, and I think whenever America decides to, go to the Capitol and stand up for our freedom and our kids and everything, I hope that the same thing don't happen. I know that there's a lot of veterans that have stepped up and said, "Hey, we're going with you truckers and everything." Like, and everybody that I've talked to, like, they don't want violence. They want to resolve something and come together.
Mm-hmm.
But
And you've been
it's
following
just,
the convoy?
yeah, I have. I got a couple of friends over in Canada that I've talked to a couple of times, but they've been busy dealing with other things. So I've just been watching a lot of the live streams and stuff.
And
But
so far, like, what have you seen? What is your perspective been on what you've seen from the live streams that you've been tuning into?
like seeing like I watched everybody, the kid with the guns and basically bashing windows out. I watched them take the gas cans from people and take firewood like live, and like, and the truckers were cleaning stuff up, doing what we hold ourselves to a code to, of helping each other out. I seen they were feeding the homeless, giving the homeless tents, blankets, cleaning snow, cleaning sidewalks. Like, as a trucker, we all live by code. Whether you want to honor that code or not, that's your choice. But it's kind of the old school way, you know. Respect your neighbor, no matter what their beliefs are or what. You know, we're a big family.
Yeah, and that's the vibes that you got. And that's the vibes that you saw from everything that you had witnessed.
Yeah, like I'm not down in the police. I know everybody has a job, but just like how everybody said that, like, that's how that transpired. That's going to be recorded in history books. They got seen technology, like, it's a powerful thing, and you can say the wrong thing at the time, and as I call it, you can let your mouth overload your butt and not think before you say things. But
Yeah, it's been a very interesting time, and it's going to be interesting to see where things go from here, and see
right,
where.
are you from Canada, or you?
Yeah,
You
I'm
are?
from here in Ontario. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, I live up in Nebraska, but we haul grain and feed, and so we get right up next there to the border and everything. yeah, it's sad. Like, I don't show a lot of emotion, but it just sucks because the things going on. But,
It's a
but
strange
yeah, I'm
time
like,
for us all.
right. I mean, I'm gonna give you a follow, and like I don't really join into these debates, but this is kind of a calm and mellow debate. Like, it's not well, no, this is how it's supposed to be. It's not like that. So this is a pretty nice, calm, and chill debate deal, and like, I mean, I respect it. Everybody has opinions. We have a right to opinion. It's our God-given right, and so
Well, I appreciate you coming out and speaking your mind as well, and I appreciate you saying how you feel and enjoying the debates. This is what I'm trying to create, a space where individuals aren't afraid to speak their mind, whether it be on the left or the right, because we all have different opinions, and we should be able to express them and hear different points of views without getting upset. And if you don't want to listen, you can turn off the live. You don't have to listen to it, right? But if you
right.
want to learn a new perspective, then here you go. There's some new perspectives for you to hear.
Right. It's like I tell my kids, I said, there's a right and there's a wrong. Now that you decide to do that right is your choice, or you decide to keep on doing the wrong is your choice. You have a path that you can take. It's up to you what path you take. So that's just kind of a philosophy that I tell my kids to live by, and that's kind of like, also as an adult, you have a right, you have a wrong. It's your choice. So
Yeah,
that's,
I agree.
but hey, man, we love you guys. We're all a big family out here. We all want, you know, we all want just want what's right in this world, across the nation, across this world, and everything. That's all everybody wants. Like, so I believe we all agree to that. But we love you guys, and we're praying for Canada and everything. So
Well, thank you for the support, and thank you for keeping the spirits going, and that's the whole thing, keeping the momentum alive, keeping the conversation going, and letting people know that other people feel the same way that they do, or they don't, and why they don't. Right?
yes, sir. Hey, well, you have a great afternoon, and we will hopefully see you on here, and we'll jump back on here. So,
You as well. I'll see you again soon. Thank you very much for
yes,
joining.
sir. Thank you. Yes, sir.
A lot of good conversations. Everybody's doing well tonight, having a good time. We're going to go for maybe another 10 minutes. If anybody wants to pop in, hit the request to join button, and it's the co-host right down there below. You can pop in, tell us how you feel. Is the government justified in their use of forces? Do you believe in the New World Order? How much control should a government have over its people? Any other questions that you have, feel free to pose those questions, and we can talk about them as well. And yeah, hit the co-host button, request to join. I'll pop you into the chat. We can have a conversation. We're going to go for another 10, 15 minutes and see what kind of conversations we can have. But so far, we've been having some good conversations, just as every other night. Make sure you join us here live at 9 p.m. each evening Eastern time. And yeah, we can do that sort of situation. Pro Trucker, if you hit the co-host button down below, you should be able to request to join, and then I can add you into the chat. Anybody who would like to talk should be able to talk. Pro Trucker, thanks for joining us on the open debate. How are you doing?
Good. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm not doing too bad tonight.
So I'm out in British Columbia, Canada,
Okay.
and I got some friends that are out in Ottawa in trucks that are helping fighting for the freedom.
Okay.
I'm very supportive. I want to live in a democratic society. I want to live in a diplomatic controlled country, not a country that's controlled by the government.
see that 100%. What have you
And
witnessed yourself?
everything that I've,
Yeah,
well,
continue. I'm just
our
gonna ask
charter
you
and
the
rights
same
and
thing you're
freedoms.
talking about.
Yeah, no worries. So far, I've seen our charter and rights and freedoms um, be thrown out the window. Our leader is not listening to its people. He is constantly making racial slurs about all different demographics, and he's calling conservative people Nazis, for Christ's sake. Like, I personally feel like Justin Trudeau is not fit to lead this country, and I know a lot of other Canadians feel the same way.
Hmm. Just based on the actions that he's chosen to take within the last
Yeah,
few months.
100%, 100%. My opinion is what I've seen, not what I've heard, not what I've been told, but from what I've seen.
Hmm.
And it's very sad. It really is. I've
Yeah.
lived in Canada for 37 years. I was born here. I love this country. You know, it's given me so much. I've met a lot of great people. I've done a lot of outdoor activities. I have a decent job, you know, and I really love it here. But over the last couple of years, I don't know. It just it feels like it's insane that a democratic government can make you feel like you're not Canadian. And this convoy has brought that back for me. It has made me feel. I go to all the protests out in here in British Columbia, and seeing all those people, talking to them, hugging them, has really brought me back to what this country should be about and not what it is.
Yeah. And throughout the time that you've been attending protests and speaking with the friends that have been throughout the country, what have you found from the protests other than clearly what you've just said that it was a good time, but like specific events that have happened? What have you heard that they've been doing at the protests?
So, yeah, definitely see you at 176 tomorrow, buddy. Um, yeah, so um, every time you go to these protests, everybody wants the same thing. Everybody who is vaccinated or unvaccinated or is pro-liberal or is pro-conservative, it doesn't matter. Nothing matters. At these protests, all these people are peaceful, they're loving, and they all want the same thing. They want to make sure that their government has their best interests at heart, and that the government keeps their freedom. When if I had my dad in the hospital dying and I can't go and see him because my government tells me I can't because I'm unvaccinated, that's a problem. That I do not agree with. Don't get me wrong, there are a million other things that I don't agree with as well, but that is one of the main things. You know what I mean? And I do not
Mm-hmm.
agree with that at all.
Yeah. I can see exactly why, right?
Right.
It only
Right.
makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring Courtney in here, or
Yeah, I'll
Court,
jump out.
to join. Oh, you can stay in.
Oh.
It's just to join the
Oh, okay.
conversation. Yeah. Thanks
Okay.
for joining us, Court, in the open debate. How are you doing?
Hello,
Hey.
doing good. So I'm from the United States. I am not from Canada, so I don't really get to see as much as I guess Canadians would get to see going on there, besides watching obviously the lives and things
Oh,
like that.
welcome.
And yes, thank you for doing the lives, whoever, yes. I really like watching those. I like being able to see what's actually going on as opposed to whatever news station is going to decide what they think is going on and change their narrative, I guess. Um, but I have to say, I've been watching from the very, very beginning, and there's not a whole lot of things that just really move me, I guess. And to see so many people from so many different like aspects of life, like he was saying, like whether it's Democrat, liberal, progressive, Republican, somebody who says they're just like Switzerland and in the middle. They're all coming together. And I mean, you even seen like Canadian flags and US flags. And I don't really know if I've ever in my life, like the 36 years, have ever seen two countries that have kind of worked together, I guess, or actually shown two flags together to do something together. So it was like a really beautiful thing, I think, to see. I'm not one who's for protests, but at the same time, I love Canada. Like I always have just loved Canada. Thought it was beautiful. Love the accents. I mean, TikTok, whenever everybody was on lockdown there for a little bit, just the jokes about delivering shots on, hockey pucks and different things like that. I love it.
Mhm.
So to see now what has changed, I couldn't believe it when I turned the first thing on. I couldn't believe seeing police in riot gear in Canada. I couldn't. I mean, it was actually more shocking for me to see that than it was for me to see just how January 6th kind of went down, watching lives again. But
Courtney, can I just add one thing real quick?
yes.
So up in British Columbia, where I live, we have a lot of Canadians that are flying flags off of their vehicle that are half Canadian flag and half American flag, which is
Really?
absolutely fantastic. Yeah. And another thing that's real quick is we went down and we protested at the 176 border crossing, which would be Sumas, Washington, or not
Mm-hmm.
Sumas, Washington, but it would be just across. No way. Fucking killed that woman. So the horse trampling in Ottawa,
Oh my God.
that the lady just died. She died about an hour ago. The police killed a protester in Canada with a walker. Bunch of fucking assholes. I'm so livid right now. Yeah, the Ontario police are absolutely atrocious, and that's all I got to say about that. However, so when we went down to the border crossing, we went down. We have a common area between the United States and Canada, and the Americans were there with their flags as well on the American side, and the Canadians were actually going out to the common area, and the Americans were coming to the common area, and they were actually hugging and being supportive. And that really showed me that the Americans understand what's happening to us and they feel for us and they're trying to be as supportive as they can because we really, really need them right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, your mandates and your lockdowns that y'all are having there, I can't believe they're worse than ours. But I live in central Illinois, like southern Illinois, basically.
Right.
And so like we had 3 months. That's how long we were locked down for.
Right. I have friends in Texas and
And
they say
yes,
that
who haven't really
everything's
had much at
absolutely
all.
normal there.
Oh
Absolutely
yes.
everything is normal in Texas. They don't even know COVID exists there. Well, I mean, obviously they know, but
Yeah, it's just a different world.
right.
It is. And honestly, in the United States, it is from state to state. I don't know how it is there, but here from
Of
state to
course.
state, it's completely different.
It's like almost like mini countries.
Yes, very much
It
so.
is. Yeah.
But I mean, you could be in one state and then all of a sudden be in all the rural parts. And then if you go to like a city part, it's 180, just completely different all of a sudden.
Right.
Because like the larger cities, they're much more liberal. They're much more all about following, like they have more mandates. They have more things going on with getting to go places and like restaurants. I know Chicago has a bunch of vaccine mandates right now.
Yeah, they do.
But so I mean, it's different. But I'm still just I can't. I don't know. I can't believe just what I've seen on the lives today in Canada. I really can't.
Well, if I was going to move anywhere, I would move to the United States and I would move to either Oregon or I'd move to Texas.
Something that I want to bring up that has to do with the live streams as well is the fact that I agree the violence that has been perpetrated by the police has been unbelievable throughout the day, but the restraint and respect that the Canadian citizens have shown at the protest, I find to be unremarkable. Faced with that type of situation, there are many individuals that could easily pop off and create an entire terrible situation. There were snipers on the roof. There was military everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
There were police forces from all across Ontario, all in Quebec police forces as well. So who knows where they were all coming from. So they weren't all working, like they're working together, but they're not all like in conjunction, you know, they don't all know each other. So the moment something goes wrong, they're all going to be just deploying as much force as they can. And the citizens so far have remained peaceful and not provoked any negative situations, which is unbelievable. First of all, it's been over 19 days that these individuals have been protesting at the Capitol, and not
Peacefully.
not one day have we seen any of the actions that we saw throughout the protests that happened after the George Floyd riots.
Mm-mm.
And
One thing that I find
That's completely different protests.
I don't mean to compare the two, right? And I don't mean to conflate the two, but I'm just speaking about what is considered a peaceful protest by the media and what is being and the actions that are perpetrated against individuals. And so, you know, there's a nuance. That's a whole different argument around what you believe should happen and what type of action should go down. But when you have people expressing themselves, there's two clear ways that groups have expressed themselves. One group has expressed themselves through, and this is not just in the United States, this has happened here in Canada as well, where businesses have been broken into. There have been streets destroyed. So, businesses on streets destroyed throughout what were considered peaceful demonstrations. The military was never brought in. The government didn't really care. They stood in support. Just as recently as 2 weeks ago, the Prime Minister has stood in support of those protests. Yet, when individuals decide to exercise their rights through inconvenient means, I understand noise is not fun. Not being able to walk down certain streets is not fun. Drive down, because you can walk down any of the streets. But the difference in response has been unbelievable. And I don't believe that it's a nuanced situation, because if you're being peaceful, regardless of what you're doing, even if it is obstructing situations, I don't believe that the military or the government should come in and enforce things to a degree that they did today in any circumstance.
No, not at all. And not the way that they used the horses to basically hip check people in the head out of the way.
well, you know that lady that got trampled with
But
the
honestly,
walker?
I can't say that I think all of the police are in the wrong here. Unfortunately, I do believe people have to do their job. They have to make some kind of money. There's nothing else that they can do. And I can honestly say I saw close-ups of several police today that you could tell were crying under their mask that they had on, and they almost looked frozen, like they didn't even know what to do, like they didn't want to be there.
Yes, but unfortunately
But I also
in
saw a lot of
Canada,
not good things.
yeah, of course. But unfortunately in Canada, when police officers get sworn in, they get sworn to an oath. And currently, right now, they are all breaking that oath, whether they want to or not. So any decent human being that is a police officer right now would either tell their commanding officer, no, I'm not doing this, or I'm stepping down and I'm walking away. I know tons and tons of people who have walked away from their jobs to support their freedom.
Oh, I know, and there's lots of people who have, but everyone lives under different circumstances though.
Right. But how much is your freedom worth? That's the thing. You know what I mean? How much are you willing to do to make sure that your freedom is protected? and your kids' freedom is protected and your grandkids. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, I know exactly where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But see, that's where
And
that's where I'm saying it's been amazing to see 3 weeks of a peaceful protest and people just having music and just being out like the way that they are, or
right.
seeing all of the farm vehicles come and move barricades
Yep.
just so the truckers could get through, or seeing all of the Canadians coming out with all of their cans of gas for everyone. I mean,
Yep.
it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing to see. Like, in all honesty, there's been a lack of human kindness, I guess, all around the world. I mean, just
Canadians are amazing people. They really are.
amazing. I mean, it's just a
But
beautiful, it just sucks to see that it's gone down this way. But from what I
right.
understand, what Trudeau kind of put down with his thing is the same as what would be martial law in America, correct? Or the United States?
Not really.
Yeah, it's
He's
nuanced. It's
he's
very
invoked.
similar, but
Yeah, it's a little bit different, but he pretty much, yeah, I guess he's giving the power to the police to do whatever they need to do to get rid of the protest.
okay, guys.
Which is
So
crazy because all he had to do was come to the table.
Of
yeah.
course,
All he had
exactly.
to do was talk. Yeah.
All he had to
But
do was
guys,
come to the table and talk.
I'm gonna start
Yes,
wrapping
no.
up the show, but I'm going to pose a question to both of you before I do. The question is this, because what we're talking about kind of relates into this issue, and it's kind of what started this whole protest in general. And so the question is, it's strange to see Canadians are the ones to be standing up to the government, and throughout everybody in the world, Canadians seem to be peaceful individuals. So what would bring them to be doing this? And it's sort of like the situation where if you push people to a certain point, they are going to retaliate. And the question is, everybody has their point, everybody has their line where it's like, I am not going past this. I am not going to do it. And some people say that this is their line, but they're definitely going to go. They're willing to go further. But at a certain point, you have a true line. And so the question to both of you is, where is your line? How far are you willing to let the government go? And how much would you do in order to toe the line, I guess you would say? And first, I'll push it over to you, Pro Trucker.
I will never toe the line. I will fight for my freedom, and I will take out anybody who takes that from me.
For me,
Courtney.
I don't know. Here where I live, like I'm down with the mask mandates or whatever that they put on us, but I'm down with them only because I don't want them to try to then push the vaccine even harder on my kids. I don't really want them to be vaccinated at this point in time until we learn a little bit more about, Pfizer's vaccine and Moderna and all the other different ones. I know they've already changed it several different times, so I just would like to know more about it before I would let my kids get it. But if they tried to, yeah, no, that's where I draw my line is if they try to even attempt to do that, there would be a lot of issues. Mama Bear might have to be a little bit crazy, but a little bit crazy in the ways of like using the law.
Yeah.
Lots of lawsuits.
Right.
And Canadians are beautiful, peaceful people, but you can only push them so far. They will
that's what
eventually stand up. And I think personally, if the government doesn't listen and do what the Canadian people want, it will get ugly.
sadly I
I
agree.
don't
I
want
think
it
it will
to.
get worse.
I don't want it to, because I
I
want the
don't want it to
government
for
to
you guys
listen.
either.
And I want the government to listen to scientists that actually know what they're talking about. However, if that doesn't happen and Trudeau keeps pushing this, then, things are going to get ugly. And Canadians will fight for their rights. They have no problem doing that. It's been recorded in history that Canadians, they don't lose. And if they want something, they will fight for it.
Yeah, and it's like we said, right? It's about where is that line, and once you cross that line, it's a bad situation. Don't push people further than they should be pushed, and why are you trying to toe that line? What is
And
the
at this point, I commend all the protesters for being as loving and as civil as they have been. But like you just said, there is that line. And once the police cross it, once the government crosses it, who knows?
I agree. I completely agree.
I do too, which I hate to see for you guys because I mean, there's so many crazy things that we have here, but it's weird. It really is for, you know, somebody living in the US just to see what is going down in Canada right now. It's crazy.
Mhm. Hopefully we can move past it, but we are
I
going
hope so. And I
to
hope things go well doing so. I hope that, Trudeau actually does come to the table and has a conversation instead of, whatever he's been doing.
mhm.
I would just like to address one of the viewers. The senior talk just said that Pat King is civil, police crossing the line, have another joint. First of all, I'm allergic to marijuana. I do not do drugs. I never have. But thanks though. Second of all, the police today trampled a lady with a walker on horseback in Ottawa and about an hour and a half ago was killed. How many protesters killed people? None. How many police have killed people throughout this protest? Technically, 2. Thank you. That is all.
Yeah. And if you don't agree, go and look it up for yourself. Try to verify the evidence, and that's what it's all about. It's an interesting situation. People always have their opinions, but they don't. They rarely want to actually look up the information for themselves or actually figure it out. They want to hold true to their beliefs and not expand past them. But that's what this is all about. It's about getting a different perspective and hearing things that you may not be comfortable hearing, researching it for yourself, and coming to the conclusions that you may not have otherwise been able to come to. But with that being said, thank you
No,
guys
this
for
was
coming out
great. Thank
tonight.
you.
Yeah,
No,
thank
thank
you.
you.
I appreciate
Thank
your
you.
points of view and everything that you've had to say. And anytime that we're on, feel free to co-host and join again and talk to us about anything that we're going on about. Like there's different topics every night, and yeah, we come on live all the time.
Awesome.
Sounds
Thanks.
good.
Good night.
Yeah, have a good
Good
night.
night.
Yeah, so it's been good conversations throughout the evening. I've enjoyed everybody that's been speaking so far tonight. We haven't really had anybody who was opposed to the idea that the government was just, that anybody was in agreement with the fact that the government was justified in their use of force. Um, we touched on the other topics a little bit, but mostly it was around what had happened throughout the day. And I thank you to everybody who's joined us in the chat. It's interesting that a lot of people in the chat seem to have nuanced point of views, but rarely do they hop into the little boxes and discuss what those point of views are and how they've come to those conclusions. That's what we're here for. I always want to hear why you feel as though the government is 100% justified. And yeah, so you're always welcome to come out. We go live at 9 p.m. Eastern every evening. And yeah, guys, my name's Elder. This has been the Open Debate. You can follow the channel to see more of these live streams, and make sure you comment on the videos to make your voice heard. But with that being said, be your own hero, kids.